Hello, everyone. My name is John Monarch, and I'm your moderator today. And we're on a special topic. We wanted to discuss C3 Solutions and celebrating 25 years. So, C3 Solutions has been optimizing supply chains for 25 years. And today we want to talk about how it all started, what we've learned, and where things are headed. So, I'd like to go around the room basically, and first off, ask for introductions. But second off, ask if you had to describe C3 in one word, what would it be? Greg.
Well, thanks, John. My name is Greg Braun. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer at C3. I'm actually one of the co-founders, so I've been on this journey for the full 25 years. So I'm actually going to cheat, John. I'm going to use two words. I'm going to use my first one is innovative, and my second one is focused. That's how I would describe C3.
Great. And Hugo.
Hi, John. I'm Hugo Trudel. I'm the marketing director. Driven, that would be my word.
And
thanks, John. Neil McEvoy, VP of Business Development. I've been here at C3 for 6 years, and a couple of jobs ago, I was actually a customer of C3, working in the UK parcel industry, been in logistics for nearly 20 years. And if I was to describe C3, I'm going to cheat a little bit like Greg. I'm going to put customer centric. Maybe it's one word with a hyphen, but whatever. Yeah. So we're incredibly driven in building the best solutions that stand the test of times for our customer in the ever-changing world of supply chain.
It's fantastic, and thank you all for that. And Greg, take us back to 2000. Why did C3 start, and what were you trying to solve?
Well, John, it was. It was a long time ago, 25 years ago, actually, and the product, I mean, Nick and I had actually started before C3. We were already solving the whole issue of yard management. And that was a time, you're talking the late 90s, when we had some opportunities come up in the fact that wireless technology became something that was accessible. I mean, wireless technology had existed before the 90s, but at that stage it was, or before the end of the 90s, it was all proprietary. So the technology opened up, and such that it was starting to be more affordable. So we were able to kind of have even the possibility of having a yard management system where you could look at your yard, drive your jockeys, drivers. We're going to be able to communicate with them wirelessly. But effectively, the problem 25 years ago was very similar to the same problem we have today, is that drivers were functioning with clipboards and two-way radios. It was extremely difficult to optimize anything, and it was a very chaotic kind of environment. And 25 years ago, based on the fact that we had all these additional infrastructure costs, really the only kind of companies that we could deal with at that time, or that could justify a system or an investment in technology, were very, very large operations. So we had the added challenge of not just optimizing any yard, but optimizing the largest operations that were out there. So it was, not uncommon for us to encounter yards that were running with 15 to 20 yard jockeys, drivers at one time. So clearly there was a massive problem with trying to optimize that kind of an operation. And these were yards where you would have hundreds of trailers parked in the yards at one time. So visibility was also a huge issue. And and again, these are all still issues that are out there today. The other main point that we had was, these large yards were usually serving very large buildings, warehouses. And, the chronic problem was, how can you improve the productivity or the throughput of your warehouse or your dock doors? So those were the big problems that we had to solve. And oddly enough, they're still the same problems that we solve today. But that's kind of how it all got started.
Well, given that, what would you say the biggest struggle was in those early years?
Well, again, similar to what it was today. Again, some of the additional struggles we had then were infrastructure costs. That was a big issue. And then it was really kind of out there to say that you would be communicating with drivers in the yard and so forth. Just the technology was not at all the same. I mean, today we're using, tablets, smartphones, what have you. In those days, it was, green screens in trucks. It was a little bit archaic, but ultimately, though, John, the problems, the challenges back then are very similar to the ones we have today, and that's something that we always tell our customer. we mention when we talk to our customers is that we rarely will be replacing an existing system. We replace clipboards and two-way radios. That's what we do. So I wished I could give you some kind of great insight in terms of how things were so much different back then, but oddly enough, they're pretty similar to the way they are today.
It's very interesting. And would you say like convincing customers is, especially early on, was kind of a challenge? Like telling them it's like, hey, this is special software just for your yard and your dock management.
Well, yeah, and like I said, back in those days too, if you were running a yard with maybe one or two jockey drivers, you probably wouldn't even consider going with the solution, right? Because the costs were somewhat, and the frustrating thing for us was that the infrastructure costs, meaning that you would need to you would have to put a local area wireless network in your yard. So and that included all of the engineering costs and so forth. So if you had a large yard, you can imagine how expensive it was to do that. In today's world, obviously, you just hook into your mobile provider and it's a non-cost, right? Whereas in those days, that cost was probably larger than the software costs that we were charging. So we needed to deal with very large operations that had very costly problems. So that was the challenge that we had then, was to be able to, not only did we have to do an ROI for our software, we had to do an ROI for this very costly infrastructure. So yeah, we started off as a small company dealing with just mega operations, right? We were dealing with the largest companies that were out there. So one of the challenges we had was, again, just to be able to convince those companies that, hey, this small best of breed company is really what you need, and you don't need to, your current WMS provider or ERP provider that says they can do this, they don't really, because all they're trying to do is just reapply the challenge, the paradigm they have in the warehouse. Let's apply it to the yard, which invariably never worked. So that was, a big challenge for us, just to convince these huge corporations to stay, take a chance on C3. But again, we had a product that came from an operator's environment. We were always, we built it around an operation. We were always very closely working with operators. So that best of breed functionality really, really showed, thankfully. And that gave us kind of a certain instant credibility with our customers as we started to present the solution and so forth.
Well, given all this, C3's been around for 25 years and software competition is only growing. What sets you guys apart? I'd like to go around the room with that, and I'll start with Neil.
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a lot. And as a former customer, I really saw C3 stand out, and I think we've continued to stand out in that way. But I think there's kind of three key areas. I'll try and touch on them really, really kind of efficiently or quickly. One, we have a sort of, the innovative heart of this company is customer driven. So we're trying to create solutions that not only keep up with trends and technology and constraints, such as the pandemic or, going paperless or being sustainable, but doing it at the pace and with the full cohesive sort of spirit with our clients and new customers. So that innovation is core of our product and has been that, for many years, and will continue to do so. I think, secondly, we have a real resilience. I think at C3, we call it bulletproof, right? Whether that's our methodology for implementing projects, which is 25 years in the making, right? So it's had very many iterations, improvements, and evolutionary things that make it, set us apart from the competition. Or just our uptime, we run the 4 nines, less than 4 minutes downtime per month as a contractual standard for our top tier clients, which is, I think, very, very rare in our field. Right through to just in-house development, in-house support, all those things that I think kind of give us a resilience and a closeness to the reality of our performance and our product's capability than a lot of other people. And then the third kind of tenet, the third sort of strategic element that makes us different or makes us stand the test of time is our employee culture, So we retain and develop and sort of cherish the best people in the industry, right? We kind of really believe in our people. And I've worked in other businesses where customers first, and I think that that's really important. But in C3, our employees are just as important as our customer, because you look after your employees, and they're going to look after your customer even better than you expected. So those three things, I think, sets C3 apart from everybody else.
How about your thoughts, Hugo?
On the what sets C3 apart?
Exactly.
Well, for being the newest member of this team, I would say it's commitment to the clients, true commitments to client, and I think that Greg and Neil summarize our involvement and the team that is behind the product, and it's an innovative team. We were at Manifest, and we had a few folks that were coming in saying, "You guys have been there for 25 years. I've seen the product evolve, and it's evolving every day, and it represents what we're looking for." And I would say that's what, if I could add to what Neil said.
Thank you. And how about you, Greg? What sets C3 apart?
Well, I would reiterate one of the first points that I made in focus. We've always been, we've always been kind of focused on yard management, dock scheduling for 25 years, and I think that's one thing that has set us apart. A lot of other companies are out there. They maybe came about the yard space through some other technology, be it tags or what have you. We've always, and don't get me wrong, there's been temptations to do other things, but we've always maintained that focus. We've constantly reinvested in our product, and I think that shows itself in the quality of our software, just the look of it. We're constantly reinventing our software. So when you see the interface and so forth, you see that it's a modern piece of software. And that, again, that doesn't come, it's not something that comes accidentally. It's part of our commitment that we have to our customers and to the overall process. So yeah, to me, that's one of the big things that sets C3 apart, is just that very unique focus that we have to this industry.
Well, it sounds like you were all very excited to celebrate these 25 years at Manifest recently, and the Future of Supply Chain conference, which just keeps growing and growing. So, Hugo, I'd like to ask you, why was Manifest the perfect place to celebrate C3's 25th anniversary?
It's pretty simple. Manifest brings together the best minds in supply chain, just like we've been doing for 25 years. It's the perfect place to share our journey and look ahead.
So how are you celebrating this milestone at Manifest?
Well, as we've been doing for many years, we're engaging with industry leaders, we're sharing insights, and of course, we're toasting to the next 25 years.
Well, you were there for a few days. What was the most exciting trend or innovation that you've seen at Manifest? And I'll go around the room and start with Greg.
Well, some of the things that this is the third year in a row that I'd been at Manifest. So I'd have to say this year there was a lot more AI there, and some very interesting AI applications, interesting use cases. And at C3, I mean, we're in the process of coming out with our own AI products right now. And well, we already have obviously AI in our algorithms and so forth, but we're going to be coming out with some new AI solutions. But it was really interesting, encouraging to see some of the different applications of AI that were out there. The other thing, and this is something that wasn't necessarily new to this year, but the self-driving truck component was also interesting. And that we saw a lot more of that. We were talking to a lot of other people, companies that that are coming out with very innovative self-driving vehicle solutions, which have a great application for the yard, and we're very excited to kind of embrace that technology, just because it's, like we always say, this is no disrespect to yard drivers, but we've always said we don't necessarily need the yard driver to make a choice. We will give them the most optimal move. And so if that driver is actually a robot, that's not an issue for us. So yeah, that was really encouraging to see that technology is progressing.
Hugo, your thoughts on exciting trends or innovations at Manifest?
Yeah, sure. So my first one, and you know what? It relates to what Greg was saying, was seeing 25 years ago and starting the automation. It's still relevant. We're obviously 25 years later, but you can truly see that quest for automation. It's an increased demand in speed and efficiency, and you can see that there's a means to do so. It's accessible. The technology is there and developing, and the prices are lowering. So that quest, you can feel it at Manifest. The second point is the end-to-end visibility is possible. So it's developing quickly and it's getting very concrete. So I think these are the two items that that came out for me out of Manifest.
And Neil, your thoughts? What was really exciting trend-wise or innovation that you saw at Manifest?
Yeah, and again, it's on everybody's lips, right? AI, but I think a lot of the coolest things that you kind of were showcased was in somehow related to AI. So from AI agents that were kind of working with brokers, or someone that does anything that follows up with a sort of voice call or something. Greg and I experimented with a tool where it's somebody, you think you're talking to a human, you're actually talking to an AI agent. And this AI agent could pretty much do anything you want within your business that involves, calling, booking appointments, chasing up on things, and take some of that monotonous admin away from your team. So there's some cool stuff on that. And also on the, more related to C3, the sort of automated gate with AI. So vision technology that will capture trailer numbers, license plate. I mean, I was having a discussion with someone recently, unrelated to Manifest, but it's in the same sort of, on the same subject, about scanning a driver's face, and instead of needing a license plate or needing a driver identification with a sort of human interaction, is to take a driver's details like you do on your phone, and just allowing that driver to access site, and then that could feed into C3 or into another system further down the line, and that was pretty crazy to me to see the level of, and to echo Hugo's previous statement, it's just the accelerated or the sort of speed of this innovation is, we were talking about AI a couple of years ago, like it was a topic for a science fiction sort of scenario. Now it's kind of embedded everywhere. AI is in your phone. AI is, everybody's talking about it as replacing or enhancing lots of stuff. So I think the Manifest this year had a super cool AI sort of flavor to it that was, I think we all need to recognize and try to see how it can enhance, our businesses and the way we integrate.
It's a great point, Neil. I actually forgot to mention that we were showcasing some vision AI technology. We were showing in our booth some very cool things of, capturing trailer numbers, tractor numbers, number plates, and showing that integration. So yeah, I mean, I kind of took that for granted because we were there doing that, but that is very, very cool technology.
It is, and it's always exciting to go and see like what people are thinking when it comes to the supply chain. And for a company like C3 and its 25-year journey, it's very exciting to be able to celebrate, first off, a quarter of a century, but second off, be able to still be on the forefront of innovation when it comes to supply chain technology and bringing AI to the yard and dock management. So what I'd like to do as we wrap up is, first off, thank everyone for participating in this panel, but I'd like to go around again and ask in one sentence, what's your biggest takeaway from C3's 25-year journey? And we'll start with Greg.
Well, it's I'm kind of repeating myself here, but it's all part of this common theme: is we just never stop innovating. We've taken this area of the supply chain, and I think we've taken it to the extra mile per se, and yeah, that's part of what we're going to continue to do, is just never stop innovating.
And Neil, your thoughts about C3's 25-year journey?
Yeah, well, again, saw a couple of sides of it. I've seen it as a customer coming to with a set of challenges and C3 solve them and then some. And I've also been lucky to be part of C3 for 6 years, being part of the recent journey. But I think go back to the sort of my initial point, which is the invest in people, look after your customers, who innovate for them to help to reach a shared goal. So I think that if that's a sentence, then that's my best attempt. But I think those things are key to what we do, and I think they will be for another 25 years, to be honest.
And Hugo, your thoughts on the 25-year journey of C3?
Yeah, well, if I may wrap it up, in my view, trust and relationship matter just as much as technology itself.
It's fantastic, and it's very exciting to been a part of hosting this webinar, and we'll be taking audience Q&A after this. So once again, we want to thank all of our attendees, all of our panelists for being a part of this, and thank C3 again for 25 years of excellence in providing yard and dock management solutions that really keep on the forefront of everything. And hope everyone has a wonderful day, and thank you so much.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John.
Yeah.